100,000 on a beat.
All right, welcome into the Berkeley Football Coaches Show along with Coach Eric Lodge. I am Lane Walford. Stags with a big 45-3 win over Goose Creek the other night, Coach. And horrendous, is that a good word? Conditions, just not a fun night, not fun weather to be in.
Yeah, about a miserable football game as I've been a part of in high school football. But luckily we were able to take care of business in those bad conditions and, come out with a good W.
Yeah, much needed win considering what happened the week before. So Stags get to 5-2, 1-1 in the region. And let's go ahead and take a look at the first half highlights. You're getting the ball first, but it didn't really go the way you wanted it to here on the opening kickoff.
Yeah, we open up. Lose the toss, they elect to kick, and we're receiving in this weather here. When you have wet conditions like this, your ball security has to be even more a point of emphasis. And as we're getting tackled here, right above the ground, you can see here, well, I guess we're not getting an end zone shot, but that ball comes out right before we hit the ground.
Yeah.
Jameer Hayward scoops it up. Just kind of unfortunate circumstances open the game here.
I mean, really you expect this to happen a few times given the weather the other night. You just hate it happening on the first play of the game. But the defense rises to the occasion for you.
They come out. The defense played really well all night. We're just, you see how physical we are, how fast we are to the football. Just gave them their rushing attack a very hard time.
Be remiss if you didn't mention the fact that Goose Creek certainly has a lot of injuries and really kind of outmanned the other night and really not much to their offensive scheme as far as what they were trying to do.
Yeah, very young team, but they came out, they played hard and they couldn't overcome some of their young mistakes that they made.
Yep.
They're there with a little counter pass. We do a good job of covering that to the boundary. Good job out of the safety here, recognizing that. Yeah. You see this tight end at the top try to slip out here.
And if you think this video is hard to see what's going on, you should have been standing there. It wasn't a whole lot easier.
Yeah. As you can see, right, counter's one of their big runs, but here's the tight end right there leaking down the field. Our safety recognizes it and he's all over it.
Yep. So we end up with the ball back and try to get things going here, and it's just wet.
Come out here, yep, you see, we've got this play right here. This was a scheme that we really liked. We're putting all our formation into the boundary. They're kicking their whole defense into the boundary. We're motioning quick to the field. This backer right here stays in the box. We end up throwing this out there on the perimeter. I mean, if we complete this, we think this is going to be a really, really big play.
Might be a touchdown here.
Yep. I'd like to see us do a better job out here on the perimeter on that block on the corner. He's like the only guy on the defense that can make a play. But we're throwing and trying to catch a bar of soap out there. Come out here, third down, right? Again, we have a receiver open. That one right there, I can't really attribute that one to the conditions. This is a really good throw, good read out of Henry. We just got to use our hands to catch the ball there.
So, put you in a punting situation here.
First punt of the game, snap it over the punter's head. I'm sitting here thinking at this point, anything that could go wrong is going wrong.
Yeah.
Definitely not the way you want to start a region game.
No. And a game where you feel like you're going to outman your opponent, but yet you're giving them every chance here early in the game.
That's right. when you place teams that are really good, those are things that you're not going to be able to do. You see here the defense does a really good job of coming out and playing tough, being backed up on their own goal line here.
Yeah.
Really good job out of Cam McHugh coming down and running the alley, making this open field tackle here for a big loss.
You don't see a lot of teams who motion their whole offensive line I assume that's something to try to get you to jump.
Yeah, that's a thing that is pretty common that I've seen in single wing offenses. And it's something that we practiced and we were ready for.
And this was not easy, a field goal in the conditions the other night. Watching him warm up, I wasn't putting odds on him making this, considering how warm-ups went for him.
Would really like to see Jihad Sneed right here run through this wing. As that wing steps out to block our outside man, you see there's a pretty big hole there. I don't really know what he was thinking here. He's jumping in the air. But if he runs through that, I think he's got a decent little shot to block this. There's something we got to get better at execution-wise, but they get on the board first.
Yeah. So Gators take a 3-0 lead in the first quarter against the Stags, and here we are back on offense. Doing really what's been best all year, just handing the ball to LJ.
Yeah, that
was Caden Foxworth.
Caden Foxworth on the run. You see the offensive line does a really good job here getting movement and getting a hat on a hat, just kind of surging the ball forward.
Yeah, in this kind of game, who can get the best push up front?
A little speed option play with Henry here. He does a really good job of reading this play side linebacker, getting over the top of the run. He just sticks his foot in the ground and hits it right up in there, a big old hole. Really good vision right here. Great job out of Henry.
And knowing when to just go ahead and get out of bounds with it.
That's right. Matriculate the ball down into the red zone a little bit more and hand that thing to Jameer Hayward. He's hard to bring down.
He's got to be getting close to 10 touchdowns on the season. This wasn't his only one on the night, so.
You see the O-line do a good job, right? Just getting a hat on a hat and letting our playmakers, see the hole and hit it downhill.
Nobody on that second level wants to tackle 33, so.
We come out, we have a little swing and gate formation right here. We've got a couple different options off of this. We saw that we had them outnumbered. Throw that ball in the back of the end zone. There's Keller with a really good catch. Probably the catch of the night there. In these conditions, to make that catch, is pretty impressive.
Unfortunately, there weren't but a handful of catches to choose from, so. But yeah, given the conditions, probably a pretty good catch. Especially for a quarterback.
Third down, you just see the swarm of the defense. Really good job getting a bunch of hats to the football.
Yeah. I was worried a little bit about what our intensity level would be like the other night, and I don't know if the early turnovers caused us to stay really engaged or what, but I was pretty happy with the intensity all night long.
This is the next play, their punt. They're having a hard time out in the weather too. The punter never really gets his hands on this. He ends up just kicking this ball out of the back of the end zone here for a safety.
We'll eventually get there. This makes it 10-3. We end up getting it to 28-3, and I'm sure most people looking at the scores thought it was 4 touchdowns. I don't know if I've ever seen a stranger way to get to 28 points than how we do it the other night.
Actually, probably a pretty heads-up play by that punter to get it out of there, so we can't just pick it up for a touchdown.
That's right.
But we get the ball back and we're moving it down the field again. Run a little buck sweep play here. Really good job and good patience out of JT here. Sticks it up in there and is able to get a good first down. There's Bryson McGee. It's nice to have him back in the rotation and back healthy again.
Absolutely.
You see here, this ball right here, they kind of have it bottled up, and he's just able to find a hole and make something happen.
Yeah, he puts his foot in the ground about as well as anybody. especially given these conditions. So now we're inside the second quarter.
Get down there really tight. You know, we've been telling old Zion Britt we'd get him in the end zone. We saw our opportunity to do it and let the big man rumble in for a touchdown.
How many times you practiced that play?
We practiced that 0 times. So, you know, we're out there directing traffic. Henry did a good job of lining them up, say run this way. You know, and he's just out there being an athlete.
Yeah,
really cool to see that.
That's right. That's right. Probably going to have to get Landon back in at running back again now that Zion's got as many touchdowns as him.
You see they come out here, first down after we kick it back to them, they fumble the snap. Jameer Hayward's able to pick this thing up and
it just seems to always be in the right place at the right time, regardless of what side of the ball.
And one thing about Jameer is he just relentlessly hustles. And when you do that, you find yourself in really good positions.
Yeah. And he's not looking to just jump on the ball. He's looking to scoop and score. I think that makes it 25-3 after the 2-point conversions and safeties.
You know, we come out here, we're kicking backed up. Really good job out of Ryland, kicking this beyond the returners.
Yeah.
You know, from them thinking they're going to have a really good starting position to now they've got the ball inside their 10. Really good job out of him and a really good job out of our kickoff unit here. They're there trying to run a counter play again. They put the ball on the ground another time and we're able to jump on it again.
Yeah, we had a couple of early turnovers, and then it hit them, and it hit them bad as far as several plays in a row with them putting the ball on the ground.
Come out, try to throw it again. They do a good job of passing off the route concept initially. Henry scrambles, keeps this play alive. I think he makes a fantastic throw here, right on the money to Jonathan Mitchell, and he's just not able to bring it in. A little disappointing that we're not able to do much with the ball, you know, but we get up here and get points out of the drive.
You know, this is not a given considering the conditions. But Ryland's had a really good year for you. He's been pretty steady, all things.
Yep, doing a really good job. You see initially that ball's hard to handle. Keller does a good job of regaining control of it and getting it on the block so he can get that kick in the air.
So that makes it 28-3.
You see the defense out there just still playing hard,
yep.
Swarming to the football. Goose Creek lines up the punt, kind of shank this punt and give us a short field again.
Yeah.
Come out here, first down, run a little power play to Jesse Brown. This has been our bread and butter. Really good blocking up front, really good vision out of Jesse, you know, and it's one of the easier touchdowns you'll see.
Yeah.
Backed up again, the defense still doing their thing, swarming to the football. You see how many hats from the D-line. We're just getting off of blocks, doing a really good job of securing our gaps and hunting the football.
Yeah, they just had a tough time moving the football. So Stags with a big half there. You've got a big lead going into halftime. What is the message to the team at halftime in a game like this? Not only are you dealing with the weather, but a big lead that you know is over at this point.
You know, the message is to not relax and to go out there as long as time's on the clock. We're playing football. Don't have a dip in any of the intensity and focus and execution. Those were things that kind of came back and bit us in the butt the week before. So, you know, the message is to go out there and pedal to the metal, and you know, as long as there's time on the board, we're playing football.
So we'll take a quick break and come back with the second half highlights of Berkeley at Goose Creek.
The Blitz is on. Save thousands with Stokes Chevrolet Full Out Blitz. Stokes is blitzing prices during truck season and offering up to $10,500 off new Silverados with APR financing as low as 0%. Score big with EVs. Right now, lease a new Blazer or Equinox EV starting as low as $359 a month and 0 down. Go for the touchdown with 90-day payment deferral on new vehicles. It's the Full Out Blitz happening now. Only at Stokes Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
All right, welcome back into the Berkeley Football Coaches Show along with Coach Eric Lodge. I am Lane Walford. Coach, before we go to the second half highlights, quick stat. Your defense held Goose Creek to -7 yards of offense in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a really impressive performance out of them. You know, I don't really care who you're playing. That's hard to do. You know, and they continue to do a good job here in the second half.
Yep. So we go to the second half highlights, and it doesn't take long, and we have a running clock. So really this second half kind of flies by.
Goose Creek comes out. They start with the football. You see the D-line swarming. There's Landon. Not initially able to get pressure on the quarterback, but does a really good job of tracking the football. And as he starts to scramble, he's there to make the play. We get the ball back on first down. In the first half, we kind of saw how they lined up to this formation. We noticed that they didn't really have anybody accounted for the tight end up the seam. So we thought we'd be able to come and hopefully complete a pass.
Yeah.
You know, good read by Henry. Good catch adjusting the football out of Bryson Heath.
Yep.
And this is our biggest pass play of the night.
Yep. Big play to get you down inside the red zone.
Get down here, 4th and 1. We thought that we were able to convert this and eke this out, but good job out of Goose Creek playing tough here and stopping us short. You don't see too many people stop 33 on 4th and 1.
Oh.
They come out here, first play of their series, mishandle the snap, fall on it in the end zone, safety for us.
Yeah.
Out here, Jabriel Roddick in at running back, you know, really good move in the hole. Is able to kind of, you know, manufacture a little bit more running lanes than is initially there. We do a good job of, you know, getting a hat on a hat. We run a little trap play there. If you saw that from the end zone shot, it's a really impressive block on the guard.
Yeah.
You know, and really good job out of all parties involved.
Yeah. Just another really good talent you've got to hand the ball to out of the backfield.
Get a 4th and 1 here, run a little split zone. Jesse Brown, tough run, you know, is able to gain that yard and then some.
Yep, JT seems to be getting close to 100%, as close as you can be during the season anyway, from where he was.
Get down here, run a little sprint out. Their defense drops and covers the concept pretty well. Henry recognizes that, does a good job of pulling it down, and is able to run in the end zone for a touchdown. See, we do a really good job setting the edge so he can sprint out there and, you know, really give them that dual threat of throwing it or running it.
Yeah. I think that puts us up 45-3, which is the magic number for a running clock, although I'm pretty sure the clock was running before that touchdown.
You see the defense still out here competing and playing well.
Yeah. And at this point, you're putting a lot of different guys out there as well, so.
See here, they're 2nd down and 11. We've got to do a better job of not having our eyes in the backfield. You see they leak a receiver. They get right behind the defense here. Thank God that, you know, we have a defender there and is able to affect the throwing of the quarterback. But, you know, we got to have better focus and, you know, cover this better on the back end.
Yeah. Yeah, the slot guy leaked out and was wide open down the field.
Get them backed up to 4th down now to try to throw. You know, and you can just see the conditions out there are not conducive to you throwing the football.
Yeah.
Come out here on our drive, throw the ball again. You just see it's tough to corral that thing in the rain.
Thankfully not many punts the other night. Ben's able to handle a bouncy snap there and get off a pretty good kick.
Yeah, really good kick, flipping the field there, you know, especially in these conditions.
They like to run that little counter play.
That's right. You know, they only have about 3 or 4 plays. This is one of their top ones. You got to read your keys. If you're not reading your keys, this will hurt you bad.
That's right.
I just like to see the defense out there still competing. No matter who we got on the field, you're playing hard. Right there, we thought we had them with a little touchdown there to the tight end.
Yeah.
And you know, they're able to get their hands up and bat that away.
Yeah, it's a big old kid on that defensive line. They're able to bat that one down. So 45-3, coach, like I said, gets you to 5-2 overall, 1-1 in conference play. Player of the game for you?
You know, my player of the game is probably Jameer Hayward. I mean, he affected the game in all 3 phases.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in bad conditions, he came out and he was Jameer, you know, and, you know, we're just really proud of the way he competes, you know, and the things that he's done this season.
Yeah. So not undefeated in the region, which is where I know you'd want to be, but you're still in a spot where if you come home, you've got 3 home games in a row to end the season, and you've got a chance to lock up a lot of home field advantage for the playoffs here.
Yeah, you know, obviously very, very important for us to finish the region strong. You know, and if we win out, we've set ourselves up in the 5A Division II playoffs to be a really high seed, have a first-round bye, and play a lot of home playoff games, you know, come November and into December. So, you know, we just got to stay focused. Hopefully we can stay healthy and, you know, got to go out and play Berkeley Stag football.
So it starts Friday night, homecoming against Wando. What do you know about the Warriors?
You know, they're really well coached. They do a really good job offensively and defensively of scheming you up, being really appropriate for the things that you're doing. Schematically, I have all the respect in the world for Coach Perrine and what they're doing over there. You know, and they're going to present challenges. The kids are going to play really hard. And if you're not focused and you're not on your P's and Q's, that's a team that could really hurt you and, you know, make it a really tight ball game.
So the first of 3 home games to end the season for the Stags. Friday night at home, homecoming 2025 for Berkeley. So come out and support the Stags here at Bonner Stadium. Along with Coach Eric Lodge, I am Lane Walford. Thank you for tuning in to the Berkeley Football Coaches Show.
Go Stags.